How to build a lead generation business in 2026. Let's talk about how to generate leads and sell them for a profit. What's up guys, Ryan here. And I'm excited to do this video. I've done a version of this video before, but this video has a lot of updates and it's gonna show you the blueprint for building a lead generation business in 2026 so that you can make your first $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 plus per month selling leads in a single niche with a single brand with one ad account. We keep it simple. This isn't like having retainer clients. You have to work with a bunch of clients and run all their stuff for them. This is building your own business where you get to sell leads to hungry sales teams. We've done this in multiple niches. I'm going to show you exactly how it's done today in this video. So let's jump on the computer and I'm going to go through a guide. I'm going to give you the guide in the description of this video as well as little 2026 late Christmas present, little kickoff to the year. And you're going to want to stick around to the end of the video where I go over some new offers that we have at Leadbase Pro. So let's jump on the computer. Step one, just do it. Don't hesitate. Do it. Do it now. Very important. Wow, that was rough. This is Arnold here. Do it now. You need to have the mindset of testing when you build a business, whether you're going into e-commerce or you're going into drop shipping or whatever your business model you're going to choose. If you're scared to start and you're scared because it has to be perfect, you have the wrong mindset. You can be a perfectionist later, but right now you need to get the reps in with whatever you're doing. You need to commit for 6 to 12 months to something and actually give it a shot, because think of all the competition you have out there. Think of all the people that want to start their own online business. If you just go and test for a week and be like, oh, it didn't work. Yeah, well, you're not going to be successful. This took me 6 to 12 months to become successful at in 2018, 2019. And I figured it out and now I'm able to replicate it. And I know what I'm doing when I do it and I can replicate it much faster, but I needed to get the reps in. And as you get the reps in, you unlock different parts of knowledge. You unlock the, different systems that you need. You unlock the, the knowledge of what and wisdom of what creatives are going to work. So have a mindset of testing and don't be a perfectionist. Do it now. Get to the chopper. Get to the chopper! Step one is you're going to do it. Step two is you need to pick a niche. So with lead generation, we like to focus on one single niche at a time. And I've got hyperlinks here that you can check out. I'm not actually going to click into this right here because I want this to be more of a shorter, hard-hitting video. But you can actually click through here and check out all of the different niches that we have there. An example would be roofing. It would be insurance, solar, home services. Pick a niche that maybe you have some experience in. Maybe you're interested in it. Maybe you know somebody in that niche, so that you can have maybe a little bit of like a leg up on the competition. I started in timeshare cancellation because I knew somebody in the niche. I was like, this sounds like an interesting niche. I knew the ticket price was very high, $5,000 to $10,000 to get your timeshare. I knew that there is, probably some companies buying leads. So I went into that niche and I dedicated myself to it for a year. And it worked out very well for me as our first brand that we started. You need an offer $1,500 plus. I would say ideally, you're probably in the 5 to 15K or more range. Okay. So you want enough meat on the bone. That being said, like things like life insurance, because you can sell it nationally, it does work in the $1,500 range. What you're going to do is go use the meta ads library, go and do some research on your niche, see what kind of ads people are running. And then you can work backwards using our pricing tool. So how that works is essentially if a roof, is $10,000 of revenue to your client and they're going to close 1 in 10 of your leads, then maybe you're going to sell those leads for $100, for example. If they close 1 in 10, it's going to cost them $1,000 in leads to make $10,000 in revenue. And their profit might be, say, $4,000 on that. That's a 4-to-1 return on investment from a profit perspective or net profit perspective on that deal. So again, you sell them 10 leads and you probably sell a bigger package than this, but you sell them 10 leads at $100, that costs them $1,000. They close 1 in 10 of those. They've made 10 grand in revenue. That's how the model works. We sell these leads, these clients, they need leads, they need business. And if they can close enough of the deals that we send them and they make a profit, they're going to want to buy more leads. Okay. So I like to work backwards from that. So in that example, let's say a roofer makes that $10,000. Maybe let's say they're making $4,000 profit on that deal. I need to make sure that their customer acquisition cost is well under $4,000 for them to want to buy more leads from me. So if my conversion rate's only 5% and I sell them leads at $100, it's costing them $2,000 to make $4,000. And from a net profit perspective, that's probably still worth it for them. And so that's how you can start to determine how much to price your leads for. And we do have this little guide here on how you can do that. You can do some research on the niche, ask ChatGPT, always be working with AI and asking it questions and bouncing ideas back and forth so you can determine this. But step two is pick a profitable niche. You want to pick a niche that is going to have enough meat on the bone, has enough buyers. Ideally is a little bit more national, has the potential to go national. Home service, you can start a bit more local, and then you can look for those bigger buyers in statewide and kind of regional areas. But you're probably gonna be able to get going faster with something national. That being said, something home services, I just did a video on HomeBuddy. They sold for $190 million because they built out a big network of buyers. There's no right or wrong. There's no perfect, easy way, easy niche to get into. It's something you should pick a niche that you're, somewhat passionate about, you think is interesting, that you can actually go into, run tests, build up an actual business in, and eventually you'll develop a competitive advantage and you can become an expert in that niche. And that's how you win in lead generation, in my opinion. All right, step 3 is build a simple brand. We like to build a website for our brand. You're actually going to own this brand. Again, you're not doing retainers where you're just going into multiple roofers, for examples, ad accounts and running their ads for them. And then they fire you in 6 months and then you have nothing to show for it. You're building your own roofing brand. There's HomeBuddy, like I just said, Roofing Buddy, whatever it is, you're going to build a brand. We have Insurance Ian, we had Timeshare Tracy. We have all these brands that kind of have alliteration. We thought that was catchy and helpful. You could design a logo with ChatGPT, set up a Facebook page, and build a simple, clean brand using Lovable. An example, again, you can click all these examples in the description. One of our brands, Insurance Ian. Again, don't overthink this. It doesn't have to be perfect. You shouldn't have to spend really any money on this besides the Lovable subscription. This is very easy to set up and build your brand website. Over time, you can redo this. You can legitimize it. You can really start to create a recognizable brand that people actually know. But for now, we want to set up something simple that looks legit. Step 4 is getting clients. And so we use cold email, Facebook ads, and LinkedIn. Depending on the niche, some of these are going to work better for you. But we like to start by using Instantly to send cold emails. We use simple Facebook ads, and I'm going to show you a lander that was previously only accessible to Leadbase Pro. So you're going to check that out. Just an example of a simple lander that we use to book clients. We get Facebook booked meetings for anywhere from $20 to $50, and we're closing probably 1 in 3 of them. So I can get a client for $60 to $150 who's going to spend $1,000 to $5,000 with me. It's not actually not that hard to get a client, honestly, guys. If you're using these 3 methods, you're going to get a client if you put the work in. We also use LinkedIn, like I said, same thing as cold email. We'll send the same. I even have some examples for you here. We use the same message on LinkedIn and cold email. We try a bunch of different methods. We split test them. And we also get all our data off either Apollo, or you can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So there's tons of options here. You shouldn't be complaining about getting a client. And if you join Leadbase Pro and you don't get a client in your first 60 days, we'll give you your money back because we have a proven blueprint for doing this, guys. The best part about lead gen too is because you own all the data, you own the systems. If you get a client and you lose them, it's not the end of the world. You just go get another client. There's thousands of clients in every single niche. I've lost dozens of clients, and it doesn't matter because I have the clients that are sticking with me now that are big buyers. They stuck with me, and it doesn't matter that I lost those clients. It was all a learning experience. So don't hesitate. You got to go get the reps in. Okay, step 5 is prepare to deliver leads quickly. So once we are maybe in talks with potential clients, or even during the time when you're doing your outreach, it's important that you start to set up some of your creatives and build out your ads and actually learn what types of creatives are working. If you can spare $100 to $300 of your own money as like an investment into this, it's good to run your own initial first test using Facebook Instant Forms. I like to start with Instant Forms because it allows you to just get something up very quick and dirty to test and see which creatives are working compared to others. You could run a pretty quick test and just see what works. And one thing that I really want to get across in this video is you need 20 plus creatives to start, at least. Okay, so that is the absolute bare minimum you need to start. I get a lot of people in Leadbase Pro that come and say, does this ad look good? This one ad? I'm like, that's one ad. I don't know. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Or they'll send like 3 ads of like that are very similar. What you need to do is have 20 plus creatives, use each of these to make 5 different creatives. So go in your backyard. I do this all the time. I go in my yard and I film like 10 videos of myself saying different scripts. I use Revid, which is an AI kind of slideshow maker. I use Canva. I create some like simple Canva concepts. I use ChatGPT to create some concepts. I use Nano Banana, which is like another AI image generator, and they now have video generation as well. You could use Sora. So we need like 5 to 10 from each of these that we're going to do our initial test. And then depending on what our budget is, we can launch all of them at once, or we could save some for the future. But it's important that you actually sit down and go through the process of creating these. And I'll just sit there and watch TV sometimes at nighttime if I want to go through an ad, creative flow, and I'll just go and create 10 ads on each. And one ad will kind of inspire me to do another one, and I'll try a new concept with AI. And you just got to try all these new things because The name of the game is testing, especially with Andromeda. Even if Andromeda is a big fat joke with, this is Meta's new algorithm, by the way, even if it is, before Andromeda, it was all about testing to see what works, because different creatives are going to resonate with different people. The one you think is going to work is often not the one that does work. And so you need to try so many different creatives. If you just get this one concept, this is pretty much the most important thing for any marketer, in my opinion. Don't just create like garbage creatives, obviously, but put some time into generating as many high quality creatives as you can and trying different hooks. That's the winner right there. Next, you're going to launch your ads. So I like to do one ad per ad set times, 25. And if you don't have the budget for this, if you're like, I have $100, Ryan, that's all I can afford. Sure, do one ad per ad set and do 10 of them and do them at $3 per day and run it for 3 days. There's your $100 test, okay? Even just doing that, you'll probably get some leads. You'll gain some confidence. That's important going into your first order. And then what we do is cut losers based on CPL and CTR. So if we have a click-through rate on our ads, below 1.25, I'd say I'm probably cutting that ad. Or if we're just not, getting leads on, and if some ads are getting leads and some aren't, we might cut based on CPL. Again, we have much more in-depth videos on this on Leadbase Pro and even on the YouTube channel. But we're running this so we can force our $2 to $10 creative per ad set budget to each ad. If you just throw 25 ads into one ad set, it'll spend on 2 of them or 3 of them. You won't get an efficient test, and it might not spend on the right ones. In fact, it probably won't. So if you spend $5 times 25, you're spending $125 per day. We can turn a lot of those off after 2 or 3 days, maybe more like 3 or 4 days. Again, this depends on your flexibility and your budget. You can turn them off, the ones that aren't working, and leave on the ones that are working, and start to scale them by 10% every day or two. And so this allows us to know, again, force exactly $5 to every ad so we know exactly what's potentially going to work. What we can then do is, like I said, scale winners and repeat this test as needed. I would repeat this test until I've tested like 100 creatives at least, and then we're still always testing. Then you're going to throw winners into a single scaling ad set. So you have a new campaign, it's called scaling or whatever. You have an ad set in there, and you're going to throw your 7 to 10 winners in that ad set and let Facebook now gives Facebook some control. Because those creatives work, you're going to give Facebook a little bit more control now to start to scale those creatives. And our goal at the end of this is to find, I would say, at least 10 plus winning creatives. Again, I just want to get this across. You need to put this is important. If you're going to be good at this, if you're going to beat the competition, you can't just have like 3 ads. You need to find 10 winning ads. And that might take you 50 to 100 creative tests. And the first test you do with your own money, $100, $200, you could just get started with that, and then you can start to continue to run these tests as you get orders. You're running these tests as you're delivering to clients. So you get an order for 50 leads for $100, that's $5,000. You're running these tests with that first client, and you're just trying to break even on that. You're not trying to make money on your first order or even 3 or 4 orders. You're just trying to learn and test as much as possible. Because if you're selling leads for 50 and you're getting them for 30, and you do enough of these tests, I bet you can start getting leads for 15, and then your profit in the future is going to be much higher, much more predictable. You're going to have much more of a buffer, and you're going to be able to get more clients and be more competitive. So it's important that, once you get that first client, you're always just continually testing. That was a long, number 6 is a long one. All right, number 7 is analyze and optimize. I pretty much just said all of this in number 6. Okay, so track CTR and cost per lead. CTR is less than 1.25, fix creative or targeting, or turn an ad off. If you don't have any winners over 1.25, you're doing something wrong, and targeting is pretty obsolete now. You're pretty much going as broad as possible with Facebook nowadays and Meta. But if your CTR is all under 1.25, again, there's something wrong with your creative or your hook. It's not resonating. You need to rethink that. And if CPL is high, you can test different offers or lead form questions. So if you're getting a good CTR, but your CPL is, people aren't converting on your lead form, make sure that your lead form makes sense. Make sure it's simple, straight to the point, tells people exactly what they need to do. Okay, next step is you can upgrade to a funnel, build a landing page to qualify leads. Here's an example you can check out. This is actually outdated. You're not going to do this. You're going to stay broad. That was kind of a targeting thing that we used to do. And this is an updated guide. And so you can pretty much leave it broad. Instead of focusing on different targeting options there, really you're just going to focus on expanding your quiz, maybe adding questions, text verification, to add credibility, trying different creatives. Maybe you focus on more on video. A lot of people say like, video ends up giving them better quality. It's all about testing. It differs from person to person, niche to niche. You have to try this for yourself and figure it out for yourself. If you want someone to just tell you what to do, and you just follow exact, like you just grab some template and you think it's just going to work instantly. That's not how this works in the real world. You need to learn this for yourself. Step 9 is expand beyond Facebook. So we like to start with Facebook or Meta, but we have actually been spending more on Google Demand Gen for the past 2 years or so. So move to Google Demand Gen, Google Search, YouTube. I don't know why this is here. You can use the Billo app. That's getting real influencers to make videos, which would be helpful for YouTube. Google Demand Gen, YouTube, Google Search, TikTok, Bing, Newsbreak, display advertising, expand your brand. Maybe you start to focus on SEO. You start to focus on, setting up local business profiles. All these things are going to help expand your brand and diversify you. And this is going to make you more legitimate. It's going to make you look like a more legit brand. It's going to help you get more buyers. A lot of our buyers would see our ads and then come to us and want to buy leads off of us. So it's going to start this machine, but it only comes through testing and, making your clients happy at the end of the day that you've got them high quality leads that are actually closing. Okay. So 10 is focusing on scaling clients. So maybe you've had your first 3 to 5 clients through the door. Some of them, 2 or 3 of them have left. You got 2 clients that are like, okay, this is working. Let's scale. Your dream phrase that you hear is send us as many leads as you can. So this is why you need to focus on quality. That's why moving to a funnel and a landing page is important. That's going to help you increase the quality so that your clients aren't closing 2%. They're closing more like, I would say, 7 to 8. If your clients are closing in any given niche, somewhere between 7 and 10%, that's probably going to work out. Again, think of the roofer example. If a roofer is making $10,000 in revenue, $4,000 in profit, and you're selling them leads for $100 and they're closing, let's say 7.5%, that's $1,500 per deal to make $4,000. They're probably going to, $4,000, let's just say that's the bottom line profit. They're probably going to want to do that deal. Is that a 2.5 times return on investment? So you got to think about the quality of your leads to make sure that, obviously these clients need to make money too. We want to make our clients happy. We want to ensure our clients that we're going to go above and beyond to make sure the leads are good quality, because if we don't make our clients happy, we can lose some clients, but we don't lose all our clients. Focus on scaling your clients, up your game on LinkedIn, cold email, Facebook, reinvest into that and try and look for whales. And you want to find your sweet spot. Sometimes 100 leads per day might earn more than 150 leads per day based on profit margin. A lot of the platforms will price gouge you. So if you're doing 100 leads per day, all of a sudden, if you try and go to 150 leads per day, your cost just went up by 50%. And so per lead, you didn't make any more money. So sometimes you have to diversify creatives and try different things to try and, break past this 100 leads per day limit. It's just a random anecdote there, but always monitor profit margins, not just volume. 11, rinse, improve, repeat. So this is like the 3 to 6 month point. You got to expect to lose clients early. It's part of the process, but focus on improving quality with each client. Over deliver on the first orders. If they buy 50 leads, send them 65. Obviously, assuming you're not losing money. If you're making 50% profit margin, send them extra leads. Make them happy. Help them understand that you're in it with them and you want that feedback loop with them. Get them to give you feedback, and use each partnership as feedback to sharpen your offer and delivery. Lastly, guys, plug in the community resources. We have Leadbase Pro available for you guys. You can join the free Skool community, and it's just $99 a month. So you get weekly group calls with us. We have new coaches coming on this year. We have the founders of multiple different softwares that we use in our group now. We have all these different experts that are willing and ready to show you exactly how to build a business. So we have 2 to 3 different weekly group calls. It's more than 15 hours of training now, that's for sure. It's probably like 50 hours of training at this point. I'll show you exactly how to get clients, exactly how to generate leads, exactly how to do everything I said here, way more in depth. We do funnel audits and live feedback, so if you can basically jump on a call with me and take as much of my time as you need. I spend 2 to 2.5 hours a week just sitting with people and showing them exactly what they need to do next. And we have tons of templates to make your lead gen journey a success. We're going to be updating a lot of our AI course this year as well, showing you how to streamline this entire process. Hopefully this video is helpful for you guys. If it was, please like, comment, and subscribe, and would love to see you in Leadbase Pro. Again, it's just $99 a month. You can cancel anytime. And we have special offers if you want to lock in for a lifetime. Everyone keeps saying to me, hey, this is actually more valuable than that $10,000 Guru 101 course thing I paid for. I think we do it a lot more efficiently. It's $99. So try it out. See you there. Thanks, guys.